yes, my friend. How you doing?
Yes, yes, my brother. How you doing? I'm okay. I'm okay. Thank you. And you?
All good, man. Respects for joining in today. It's been, we've been having this conversation for a long time now. And we've been
Yeah,
doing live, and
yeah,
finally the day is come today now.
yeah. True, true.
So how's life been then? How's things going on?
Yeah, everything blessed. Blessed Sunday. Everything
Are you
blessed,
chilling in
man.
the
Thank
studio?
God.
Chilling in the studio
Uh,
today?
Say again?
Are you chilling in the studio?
No, this is just the spot that I use every time I need to do a live with
Yeah.
anyone. Whether I'm interviewing or I'm being interviewed. I always, yeah, choose the same place to do it.
That's good, man. That's good. But
Yeah,
let's
well,
start with introduction because those who are watching us, we've got your followers as well watching us from all across the globe.
yeah.
We've got UK, Canada, America, Portugal, Brazil, India. The whole world is actually tuned in now, right? And considering
Beautiful.
we're going global here, right? International,
Beautiful.
international.
We're doing great. Looks like we're doing great.
Right? This is how we do it. So Trendsetter Season 2, that's the show, right? With
Uh-huh.
myself, Raman, Siayn, and we've got a special guest, as you can see right now on the screen, primarily known by his rap music, his hip-hop music is influenced by as well. Bro, I want to start off first to know about you, about your background, about your music.
Mhm.
Where it's all began, where's the music journey all started from?
Mm. Okay. Hello, everyone. Well, first of all, yeah, it's a pleasure to be here. Thanks for the invitation, Mr. Raman. Well, everything started. I was very very young. I was still in Angola.
Okay,
Uh, I moved to UK in 2011, and
right.
everything started very very very. When I was very young. But
Ah,
it took some time for me to take it seriously. It took me some time. I used to write many lyrics, but I never recorded. It was only when I came to Leeds, uh,
okay.
started my course in here. I did
Right.
economics business, started in 2011, finished in 2016.
Oh, wow.
And during this period, I started recording, and in 2017, I decided to when I finished my course, I decided to take it seriously.
Wow. So, considering so you were born and bred in Angola,
Hmm.
2011 you came to the UK. What was the reason behind that? I mean, what came in your mind to actually consider to leave your country and come down to the UK? What got you here?
Well, I had two cousins in Leeds
All
at
right,
that
okay.
time. Actually, three. I had three cousins in Leeds. One of them actually was a big motivation for me to make music because he's a singer as well.
Oh, wow.
So I was in Angola. He was here. He finished his course and then he went back to our country.
Right.
And I started watching him, doing his moves. He was taking that seriously.
Right.
So that's when I actually started, getting the passion for for this part of the movie, for this scene, because
Oh,
sometimes we're doing the things only for us, but when we show to someone else, everything is different.
oh
So
yeah, absolutely.
that was what was happening with me. I was watching him, and then I come to Leeds, and I was here alone. I never lived by myself, and I don't know, man. I just got the idea and this inspiration to do it. I had a friend
But
of
did it
mine.
actually take you? Did it actually take you a bit time to adapt to the culture here? Because there's two culture differences here. You know.
Well, well, I can say that a little bit in the beginning because, man, I couldn't cook. I couldn't do nothing.
Yeah.
The
Because the
begin-
lifestyle is completely different, you know, in a sense.
yeah, when I was living in Angola, I had everything made for me. The lunch, the breakfast. My mother was there, and here everything was different. You know, in the beginning, I used to go to restaurants every single day because I
Yeah.
couldn't cook. So I
Oh,
learned cooking here. I learned many things, man. I became a man in Leeds. I can say that. Yeah. So it was actually a great experience. And at the end of my course, the plan was to go back to Angola, and I didn't go because I realized that here I was actually growing up, and I wasn't feeling ready to go back yet. I thought like, okay, let me take a little bit more from this place, absorb a little bit more from the
yeah.
culture, knowledge, even my career. I was starting my career, even though it is in Portuguese, and I could just focus on the Portuguese market. I thought that, you know, I was speaking English now. I can speak English now. So why not try to make music in English as well,
Yeah.
and explore other markets. So yeah, just so many opportunities in this place, and yeah, I decided to stay.
Well, I mean, like you've actually mentioned all this, you know, it seems like your start of your career has been like a slight struggle, I would say, like just to, you know, to just settle down in this country in a
Yeah,
sense. You know?
yeah, definitely, and it was the struggle that I never expected in my life, to be honest,
Yeah.
because I come from a good family. I come from a good family. I never, I never missed anything, man. I always had everything. I always could study in the best school, get the best pencil, the best pen. Every single thing I always got like opportunities to do courses in other countries. Like I come from a good family, and being here actually made me progress a bit more. You know.
It kind of like it kind of brought a bit of reality in a
Mhm.
sense that, you know, that if you were to live individual as a, you know, as an independent person, what
Yeah.
kind of phases you have to go through, you know, how to establish yourself, you know, on your own 2 feet, you know.
Sorry, I didn't get you. Sorry.
What we're trying to say, like, it kind of brought you like a reality in a sense that, you know,
Yeah.
how to be independent, how to
Hmm.
stand up on your feet, you know, how to go through different phases in
Yeah,
life as an
definitely,
independent person.
definitely. When I finished my course, when you when you're very young and you go to school, and you just grow up with that mentality. Okay, I'm going to school. I'm gonna finish my school. I'm gonna have a nice job, and from that, life is done. We're gonna get rich one day, and
Yeah,
that was
yeah,
a
yeah.
dream. That's like the basic idea. But when it comes to the reality, things are a bit different because everybody's trying to get that same good job. So I remember that when I finished my course, I tried to get a job in my course, economics for business. I'm graduated in economics for business, and
Wow.
I never got a chance to work in my course. And it's very curious how the road goes round, because today we are here talking to each other,
Yeah.
and I will never forget how I met you.
Ah. Wow.
It's very interesting.
I think you need to, you know, share this to the viewers today. Like, I mean, they want to know because it's a bit unusual. Because most likely, I've had Bollywood, you know, singers and Bollywood actors, you know, on the live. But
Yeah.
today was a complete twist. You know, I think no one expected this, so I think they want to know how we actually got to know each other. First of all, you need to tell us in your own words.
Yeah, man. It was very interesting, and I've been going through things like that for the couple of years, very experiences I've been going through, and I've been learning. There are definitely things behind the curtains, things that we don't see obviously so clearly. But
Yeah,
after a few years, you understand the reason why you went through those things. You can see the
yeah,
things behind the curtains after a few years. So at that time, man, it was very hard. You know, I was working in a place that I never imagined that I would work one day.
Yeah.
But I had a family. I had to work. I needed the money. Even though I had this dream of becoming a musician, doing my things, you know, I had priorities. So I had to go through those things. You know, I was washing dishes, and I worked in Burger King. I worked at Nando's, and it was in this Indian restaurant where I was uh, washing the dishes. And one day you were there. You were basically eating in that restaurant. How things are. And man, Mr. Sim, which is the owner of the restaurant, he told me who you were. He's like, this guy is a good influence to you. You should try to get some connection with him. I said, okay, nice, 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 nice. And man, it's very interesting because I am a musician, but I'm very talented. I do many things. I don't just do music. I promote artists, um, and I always try to filter the maximum that I can in terms of spending. I don't
Yeah.
want, I don't want to spend too much. So, for example, my music covers, I always did all my music covers. And I knew in the beginning it wasn't in a great level, but I was still doing it.
Yeah.
And I remember that I came to you as well one day, and I was looking for another job. And I told you, man, I would like to work with you. I would like to learn from you. And you told me, okay, bring me your work. And when I brought
Yeah.
to you, you saw the work and you said, man, this is a very basic level. I was very young when I was at this level. You told me that. So in my head, that didn't put me down. Basically, that motivated me to carry on. And man, I came back home. I started making more. You know, at that time, I was only doing covers. Then I started doing music, lyric videos. So many things, man. I progressed in so many things, and I believe that was the reason why today I'm here, because I took, these small things that could probably put me down, because I know it puts a lot of people down sometimes. But I understood that was not people can understand that. I could understand why I was going through those things, like that place and getting the no from you. All this struggle, if you know what I mean.
Well, it has been a very interesting journey in the sense of like how we met each other, to start
Yeah,
with,
yeah,
and also like having that similarity that, you got interest in music, I've got interest of music.
yeah.
I
And I
think
didn't
most of
even
our
know
conversations,
back
what we've had
then.
in the past, it's
Yeah.
always been about music,
Mm.
and it's always been. I mean, I would mention that to who are watching us now, is that whenever we always hook up, anytime in the office, it's always about thinking about the future projects or what we're going to do in the future. What
Hmm.
kind of things we can actually adapt. Collaborative projects.
Yeah.
So we're always having that conversation, and I think this is the reason why I've got you today, because you've actually made a lot of music, so far, when it comes down to even doing EPs, even
Hmm.
doing single tracks as well. I mean, I want to mention also, like, I think straight after your university, you formed a musical group as well, didn't you?
Um, yeah, I started with a group.
Yeah.
This
I
is
think
actually,
alongside RD and Debbie Simul, I think.
yeah,
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 yeah. Tell us about that, because I think that was like, I would say that must have been like the first time or something, or that
yeah,
moment where you took music seriously, that you formed a
yeah.
group.
Well, it's funny that today we can say that was serious, because back then people wasn't taking the
Yeah, yeah,
was taking it as serious, because it was the very first musics. So you know, RD is actually a very good friend of mine. We grew up together. back in Angola when I was studying in the high school. I met him there, and man, he was very advanced in music. He already had another group, he had projects, he was performing. He had a lot of knowledge in terms of when it comes to music, recording music. He had a lot of knowledge. And I was just writing, I wasn't recording anything. But when I come to Leeds, he was living in Portugal,
Okay.
and he was going through a few problems there, and he decided to move to Leeds as well. And we lived
Ah,
together for probably the first 3 or 4 years.
right.
So basically, the whole all university period we lived together, and I was making music with him. The first songs, the first music I was doing with him. Then I met my wife, which is Dabi Simu.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. Then I met my wife, and she wasn't a singer back then. Interesting. She
All
wasn't
right.
a
So
singer.
she's got a passion of music as well.
Yeah, but she wasn't a singer in the beginning. And when we started our relationship, I was so much into music with my friend RD, and she was in that environment. So she was watching us every time, writing, listening to beats. And one single day, man, we just heard her singing. She started singing suddenly.
Wow.
And we said, man, wow, we've been looking for a female voice all this time. And what do you think? Shall we do this or not? And she basically embraced the project, embraced the idea. And this is how we started actually the things seriously, because until then it was just me and Rui. And even though we had the songs there, we were not releasing them. When she joined us, that's when we decided to put the songs out. That's why the first song was actually Peace and Love, a reggae song. And all those songs were internet beats. That's why I was
Okay.
telling you today we look at them as a serious work, because it makes part of the journey.
Yeah,
But at the
absolutely. Yeah, yeah.
same time, as I'm saying, they were internet beats. So we never actually released them to, I don't know, platforms like Spotify, iTunes. But that was the first mixtape. The second mixtape, it was different. There, we actually got our own beats, and that was actually when the thing started seriously from each and every one. And then we
So
split it.
when you say you got your own beats, do you mean by like you arrange musicians to play pieces for you, or were they just samples? In fact, pre-mixed
Well,
samples.
we are not producers. I am not a producer. None of us is a producer. But our group, this first group actually, the idea from the beginning was actually to get different artists together, not only
Right.
not only musicians. We wanted to have designers. We wanted to have uh, I don't know, producers. And we actually got that for some time. We had 3 producers.
Right.
So we started getting the beats for free in the beginning. And the networking actually helped a lot as well, because each of us had our own public, our own friends, and he had his relations. He had other musicians. I met other musicians. I started projects as well, and so basically I got the opportunity to know other people, other producers, and they helped us. They believed in our project, and they sent us a few beats, and we did songs there, and then we released.
Wow.
Yeah, that was actually the second mixtape.
So what kind of response did you get at the time? Because if we think, if we think on the real picture, times have changed. When there used to be a time when there used to be LP records, there used to be a time when CDs came out, there was cassettes, and with time things have become very advanced in the sense that you've got digital platforms.
Yeah.
You release one song, right? It's very rare. I mean, especially if I was talking about our genre of music, Punjabi music, it's just come now that people have started to do EPs now. People were just doing single tracks, just solely because they don't want to take the risk. They don't know what will be the outcome after releasing a full album. So, I mean, what kind of response did you get after releasing an EP?
Because it was the beginning of our career, our public was very friends. We're like friends, family.
Yeah.
So the response was good, but as you know, friends and family, unfortunately, they give you support for a certain time.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Like in the beginning, when they realize, okay, he decided to do it, he's doing it, okay, let's clap. But then, obviously, it's a long journey, and you release 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and you keep sending them, and it gets to a point they don't follow you the same way they were following in the beginning.
Yeah.
So you start actually trying to explore other people, show your work to other people.
Yeah.
And that's how we were actually expanding our work, doing imagine my friend, we were really in the same school, so our friends were basically the same, and my wife had another public. Of course, because I didn't know her, I met her at certain point.
Yeah.
So people were listening to it. People were listening to it very well. People were accepting it, and we realized that we should do more. We should keep doing. But at that time, we were just putting the songs on YouTube, not in digital platforms. Only on YouTube. When I did my first song on an original beat, I decided to do some research on the internet, and I found out how to put the music on digital platform.
Okay.
And that was the very first song from us on digital platforms. Then I put our mixtape, the second mixtape. But guess what? It's like playing football. You can be a great footballer, you can have the great team, but if you just get in the pitch and stand there, no one scores the goal.
Absolutely correct.
You have to do moves. You have to, even though I was putting the music in the platforms, I wasn't promoting the right way. I didn't know how. This is actually how it is when you are an independent artist. You go through different phases where you learn. And I basically was learning how to promote it. And I wasn't getting views, I wasn't getting streams on Spotify, and I wasn't understanding why. And with research here and there, talking with this and that, I started understanding more and applying to our work. and yeah, things started to change, but not in not on these projects. I started seeing these differences in my own career, on my own projects, when we actually split it, because after a certain point, I was doing my own thing. Everybody started doing his own thing. My wife, RD, and me. Yeah, yeah. But it was very nice, you know. It was a bit scary in the beginning. We like,
Yeah.
because RD used to be the guy of the chorus. He used to do the chorus every time, and we were only focused on writing our verses. So at that point, RD is going, the girl is going, and I was like, okay, how am I going to be now? But yeah, you know, I always had the feeling, I always loved music, and I always knew that I had much more to show, and I had to find out within me. And, you know, I believed and I carry on today. Yeah, it is what it
Well, I
is.
mean, looking at your collection of music, those who haven't heard your music, I think check it out because you've actually done a lot of music in this whole journey till now. Hence
Thank
why,
you.
I mean, today's conversation was just basically an extract about yourself as an artist.
Yeah.
And now you've actually dropped a brand new single alongside, I mean, you just tell us what this track is all about. It's a brand new tune. It just recently is released. Because I'm not familiar with the Portuguese language, you need to help me on this one now. You need to help me on this one. So tell us a bit about this brand new track, first of all. Tell us a bit about that and basically the insight of the subject of the soundtrack. I mean, knowing that you're also a songwriter,
Yeah.
tell us a bit about this new track of yours.
Well, basically, it's a new project. All these times after I was working with Incorruptíveis, my first group, I focused in my own career, and very recently I released a track called Black Power,
Yes.
and I invited someone that I never worked with before, which is Kate B. Angola.
Okay.
Yeah, and after the track was released, man, we just started having a great relationship with each other, and because he's been into music for a very long time, he know a lot of people, and obviously he has his own projects as well. Um, he had this idea of creating this Ubuntu group. He had the idea, he had the dream of creating something like the Wu-Tang Clan, but applying, even though we would bring the same energy, the same ideology of the Wu-Tang, we wanted to add the Ubuntu philosophy, which is an African philosophy that defends I am because you are. It is
Mm.
it's
Okay.
basically a very humanity philosophy. It defends a humanity approach in our daily life. And yeah, he invited me. I accepted, and then I got the opportunity to go inside the group, which is a WhatsApp group, and I realized that there were many rappers in there, too many, and one better than the other. All of
Wow.
them very sick rappers, very good musicians. Some of them were very known in the Portuguese market, and others don't. But I love that union. I love the union, especially because the idea of Ubuntu, the idea, the philosophy promotes this unity, and at the same time in the group we are not just rapping, because you can see that each rapper from that group comes from different places of the world.
Yeah.
basically you get rappers from Angola, you have rappers from Portugal, rappers from Cape Green, and all these countries they speak Portuguese, but till this day they are not united as they were supposed to be. And with this project, we intend to bring that union as well. And yeah, and you know, when we started making everything, we received the beats first, and after receiving the beats, we did our recordings. We sent to them back to Kate B, and he is the one with the producer and the guy who was doing the mixing and mastering. They together they decided to arrange the track, each and every verse,
Wow.
everything. And the group basically involves, you know, that idea that I was telling you from Incorruptíveis, that the idea was to bring different talented people in the same group.
Yes.
This group, we already have that. Basically, we have um, a video producer there. We have music producers. We have designers. Everything. So we managed to do all this work, even though we are very far from each other. We managed to do it well, far from each other. And yeah, man, it was great. I recorded my part here. They recorded some parts in Angola and some in Portugal. And you know, before the song was released, people was always expecting a lot from it. People was asking it. People always, they just wanted to see, because it was different. This time was different. We focused in the marketing in the way that we never focused before. And yeah, man, things went very well. Thank God.
So, talking about this track, I mean, you mentioned like you've got quite a lot of artists, quite a lot of producers in this track. Tell us about the fact that, was the track actually recorded in the UK or was it recorded in Angola? I mean, how did that kind of communication happen?
We are spread it in the road. Some rappers are in Portugal, some are in Angola, some are in the UK. I recorded my part here in my own studio.
Wow.
And everyone basically in the group that have their own studio, they recorded in their own studio. And those who doesn't, they went somewhere else to record. But
this is what I find quite interesting here now, because you know, looking at the technology being so advanced, you can actually, you know, work very remotely, very virtually, in a sense that, you know, you don't have to travel, you know, to another country to get pieces recorded, getting the vocals recorded. You can easily just communicate via the internet. So they can do their pieces, email it to you, you do your pieces, email it to them. You know, so it's quite, you know, it's quite advanced in that way that now that music is being created virtually.
definitely. Imagine so many years ago, how could we do it? But yeah, today, thanks to the development of the technology, I could record, you know, I was probably meant to call a great music or video director and producer to do that work. But nowadays, thanks to the technology, everybody has access to these modern things. And I did between friends, you know. Actually, the guy who shooted my part was a guy who I met in the bus stop in the in city center.
Oh, right. Oh my God.
Yeah,
Wow.
the city center. And man, we were both waiting for the bus stop, and I was listening to music and I was rapping, and
Right.
he heard like, is that Portuguese? You rapping in Portuguese? Yeah, yeah. Okay, I have a friend from Portuguese, from Portugal as well. We live together. Blah 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 blah. So what do you do? Oh, I love filming, but I'm just starting. I said, really? Okay, give me your number. And I saved his number. And the guy disappeared for probably, I don't know, 5, 6 months. And when I needed to shoot this video, I didn't have enough money to call the guy who I work with normally. So I said, okay, let me call this guy. I'll get the material. He's gonna get the material he needs as well. And let's make it happen. Man, he was available. He came. I asked the support of a few friends as well to come and join. My older brother brought dogs in the car, and man, we did everything. And man, in the same day we sent back to Portugal. The guy received thanks to the technology, and
the reason, this is solely the reason why I've done this live with you today, because I think your journey has been very unusual in the sense that at every pass you've hooked up with different talented people in the process.
Yeah,
it's very unusual. It is quite unusual in the sense that it almost feels like wherever you're going, doors are opening up automatically.
yeah. I've been feeling the same. I've been feeling the same, and that I call them signs. I think these are signs. When we are walking, sometimes we have on our right or on our left a great view, but we don't even realize, because we are just focused on our things and walking. And when we get to the destiny, we look back and we can see that view, and then we be like, oh, what an amazing thing. But then we be, oh, I passed through that, didn't realize. So you were close to that, but you couldn't even see. So it's very important for us to be able and know how to live each and every moment we are going through, regardless if they are very good or very bad. Because it was exactly in a very bad time when I met you, and today we are here.
Wow.
And I believe that this will take me further on as well. So it's important to know, because these are the times and places when you get the best signs. Another example I can give you, I was telling you about the Black Power song.
Oh yes.
The Black Power song, when I was in Burger King, I met this girl called Annette.
Okay.
Yeah, she was new there, and she could speak Portuguese. She was the only one there speaking Portuguese, me and her.
Okay.
And man, one day, Burger King is all in glass. So I was at the till, and I could see her coming with her bags and her kids. And I was like, what's going on? And she came inside the Burger King crying, and she said, I am in this situation, I'm homeless at the moment. I was like, okay, you're not homeless, you're coming to my house. She came to my house.
Wow.
And she lived in my house with my wife for 2 or 3 months. And I remember she used to sing. When we were working, she used to sing loud, and I was always impressed with her voice. I used to invite her, come to my studio, let's record. And she used to say, okay. But I think because she was very focused on her life, the struggle she was going through, she never recorded. Even when she was living in my house, the studio was here, but she couldn't record.
My God.
It was only when she left my house, she went to her own house, and she started her relationship with one guy, which is Kayaman, on the track. And after a few times, she came back to our house just to introduce us to him. And she said that he was a singer as well. And I was like, oh, really? You are a singer as well? Yes, I'm a singer as well. Let me listen to your music. As soon as the guy played, I was like, "Is that you?" "Yeah, it's me." "Okay, stop. Let's go up there to the studio. I need this verse, please." And the guy in 15 minutes he wrote down. And man, basically, this is how the track finished. The track was in my computer for the last 1 or 2 months, and I couldn't do anything because it was only my verse, the chorus, and a verse of Kate B. Angola, the guy I told you from Ubuntu. And this is how we finished the track, man. And the track basically nowadays is one of the track that gives me more streams.
Wow.
And this is how we met in Burger King, going through that struggle again. You see? So, yeah.
That is fantastic. I mean, this is, I think this conversation we're having is quite inspiring in a sense that, you know, that entire journey till now has been very more of an experimental exploration, you know, kind of like
Without a doubt.
as if it's like it was destined in a sense.
Man, I don't know if it's a destiny, but I can tell you one thing. It's hard. And it's not funny.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's hard.
I agree with that. I agree with that.
But
especially, you know, being in the music, you know, music in generally is almost a talent or a profession which is always going to be, you know, a struggle, because there's a lot of artists out there, there's a lot of producers out there, there's you know, there's a lot of content out there, and to be and make your mark in the industry, that is the most struggling part of your whole journey in a sense.
definitely, because you know everything is a struggle, especially when you are an independent artist. When you are in a label, you have everyone doing everything for you.
Yeah.
But when you are an independent artist, the struggle is even bigger, because the music career itself is a struggle. Even if you have people behind you, it is a struggle.
Oh yeah.
Without them, by yourself, it is a struggle for you to get inspiration, because many of the songs that I did, they came from inspirations of emotions I was going through. For example, and it's not everyone that is able to be down and still hold a pen and write. He's down, he's gonna sleep, he's gonna walk, he's gonna do many things, but he's not gonna be creative.
Yeah. Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? So you must you must have this focus in you as well. And definitely, man, I believe that it is not just the people you meet, it is always your determination. You must be determined. And I believe that's why I'm, you know, when I started making my music, I used to ask myself, how am I going to promote it? Who is going to accept my music? Who is going to put this music on the radio or in the portals? Who? I don't have money to pay each and every one. How am I going to do it?
I was going to mention this actually, because you know, when it comes down to when you've made that music, you've produced that music, you've got the product ready now. It's a matter of sending it to radio stations, TV channels, wherever, newspapers, magazines, or any like YouTuber or anyone, just to actually put it out there to promote it, and expect that they're going to promote it forward. What kind of response you've had from the radios? Because, you know, knowing that, you know, there's bigger artists there, you know, they want big names, so it builds their kind of portfolio. But what response have you had from radio stations so far?
Well, I can tell you that the best thing you can have in the world is not even money, it's networking. That's what I can tell you.
Yeah.
You know, today there are radios playing my songs, but I believe that many of these radios, they are playing my songs because they heard my song being played in another radio, for example.
Ah, yes.
And this other radio was actually a connection that I had. For example, I have a friend. That's why it is very important for you to keep people you know, your friends, keep respecting them regardless of the distance of time. Keep respecting them, keep showing them love. Uh, these friends we met in the same school I was telling you before, from Angola, and we always had a good relationship. And after all these years, I never imagined that one day she would work in one radio station.
Yeah.
But guess what? This is exactly what happened. I was making my music. I needed to promote my music, and I realized she was on TV, she was on radio stations. So I went to speak with her, and man, it took some time to see she actually doing it. But you see, you have to be patient as well. Some people they simply give up. They say, "Oh, she doesn't want to help me. She doesn't. She's this, she's that. I'm gonna do it by myself." But if you really want to do something and you feel or you believe that is a good way, you shouldn't give up. And I never gave up. It took some time for her to play the song, but I went back to her. And then she said to me, "Oh, Emerson, now I'm working on a radio station. Please send me all your songs. I need the lyrics as well. Send everything. We're gonna analyze it, and if we approve it, we're gonna play it." I said, "Okay, cool." And today the songs are being played.
Fantastic.
You see, I decided to do my own portal. When I decided to do my own portal, many people that listen to my music and know my music nowadays, it's because I was actually interested in working with other people in terms of promoting their work, not even my own work. Same thing we are doing with me here. So I was interviewing them in the portal that I created, and obviously the portal was getting more followers. Followers from this guy they interviewed today, followers from that guy they interviewed last week. People started to come. So when I have my own work nowadays, obviously I have more people watching it. So this is another key that I can tell you here that I applied in my own life, which is sometimes we're not supposed to focus just on what we want. Focus on what you want, keep doing what you want, but always pay attention to the sides, because there is probably one guy here or one guy there or one street here or one street there that can take you other opportunities
Wow.
that will definitely help you for the goal that you want to achieve. That's why working in that restaurant was not bad. Was great to clean those dishes. Was great, my brother. It was great to clean those dishes. If I
I
didn't-
would also mention this. I think this is also a sign of being humble as well. Because you've gone for that phase where you didn't have that self-esteem. That
Mhm.
I'm not going to do this job. Why should I clean dishes? So there's people out there. If we're talking about the generation now, they'll be very, very reluctant to actually take on that kind of a job where they didn't clean it.
Mhm. But this is
Doesn't mean
actually
you
the
work.
reality of, if we
It's a
look to the
reality. Yeah,
successful people, this is actually the reality of them.
yeah,
Each and every one. We can talk about Barack Obama. What
yeah.
is the story of Barack Obama? Where did he come from? Who could imagine that guy would become the first black president of America?
Absolutely. No, I don't think no one imagined that.
That's what I'm saying. So Things like that. We have to analyze it that way. We never know. We have to believe, keep walking, regardless.
I've got a question for you. Like, in spite of the fact that you live in the UK, how do you manage the balance between your professional life
Mm.
and your music life? Because I don't. So how do you actually manage to balance that time?
Well, to be fair, I could only start focusing really on my career. And I'm telling you, my portal, my own music, my family. When I left Burger King, it was in the COVID time.
Ah,
Yeah, because when I was working in Burger King, I couldn't even record a lot. It was difficult for me to make music. I had the material at home already, but I couldn't spend time doing it because my life was very hard back then. I used to imagine start working at 11 o'clock and finish at midnight straight. It was very hard, and I used to have 1 hour break only, so it was hard. And I remember that I went through one bad situation there, which motivated me, encouraged me to go to my manager and say, "Look, I'm going. I don't want to work here anymore." That gave me the courage to say that. I said to me, like, "Emerson, come on. You are a talented guy, man. You can do your own things. You have skills to do so many things. Why are you going through this? You are graduated in economics for business. Why are you going through this?" And I went to my man and I said, "Right, I'm not coming back. How long do I need to stay here? Okay, need to stay for 1 more week. Okay, I'm gonna stay 1 more week and then I go. Okay, cool." And I was only thinking about my portal, that I wanted to start promoting artists. I was, imagining all these things, interviewing people. And what motivated me to leave that place as well was this job that I could see people doing, which was deliveries, the Deliveroo, Uber. I was seeing guys outside on a bicycle, delivering
yeah.
orders. And I remember that one day I asked one of the guys that went to Burger King to collect an order there, and I asked him how much he was making. And the guy, he didn't just tell me, he showed me on his phone, and I could see that guy was doing almost 200,000 a month. And I was like,
Um,
"Really? Just by yourself, just with this bike?" "Yes, just me and this bike, whenever I want." I said, "Really? Okay." And all these things actually made me see the picture that I couldn't see. I could imagine, like, okay, I'm gonna leave this job. I'm gonna work whenever I want to work. I'm gonna have time to my family. I'm gonna have time to make my music. I'm gonna have time for every single thing. I just need to manage my time. And then I spoke with my wife. She encouraged me as well. She said she basically approved the idea, and yeah, it was the best thing that I did, man. To be honest, was the
wow.
best decision.
The best decision made, right? Because considering you've produced that much music, and also going in that phase where you work places to places, you kind of like remained kind of, kept on going with things, with work, with your music, which, even till now, I mean, your progression in this, in this professional music is kind of opened a lot of doors for you. I mean, because mentioning when we last actually got, had the discussion, You mentioned you've actually collaborated with Indian artists as well. You had like a meeting, to work
Yes,
alongside
yes,
each other.
yes.
I mean, tell us a bit that how did that meeting go? I mean, what kind of conclusion came out from there? I mean, will we see yourselves working with Indian artists in the future?
Well, that was very interesting actually. Because I promote artists, yeah. I have a WhatsApp group, and everybody that is there is actually free to send information, promote their work, whatever they want to send, they send there. And someone actually sent that picture with the description, and I could understand that there was a relationship going on in Angola, in my country, between India
Ah,
and Angola. And the the main reason of that relationship was exactly music, was to music and cinema and everything related to arts. Basically, they wanted to create this relationship in order to obviously promote and help uh, the Africa or Angolan culture to expand internationally. So I published that on the portal, and
right.
that's where actually you saw that image. And it was interesting to me that it caught to your attention, because before that I was talking with a friend of mine, and he is from Nottingham, and he is Portuguese.
Right.
Actually, he speaks Portuguese, but he is from Mozambique. And he did a collaboration with an Indian artist,
Okay.
and that was very interesting to me. I said like, wow, because I really recognize that the Indian market is very developed, very very developed, and it's developing more and more. When I was young, I already used to see Indian movies. So you've been doing this for ages. Angola, only recently we are actually expanding our market in that sense. So it's definitely very interesting to me to think and be able to collaborate with an Indian artist.
Well, I mean, you mentioned like, about that meeting as well. I mean, I presume after having that meeting, you must have done a lot of research about the Indian music industry in the sense of like seeing, their kind of music, their kind of quality of production work, their kind of quality level of their music videos in a sense, how it's kind of expanded globally because the Bollywood movie industry, for
Hmm.
example, is like the second biggest industry in the world in
Yeah.
terms of their movies. And I
Hmm.
think it's I would say 90% of like the revenue was generating in India
Yeah.
is Bollywood movies and music.
Hmm. Yeah. Definitely. And Angola, uh, all these times, all these years, we've been trying to promote our movies, and there is actually a character called Silvio Nascimento,
Right.
and he's actually taking it to another level, our cinema industry. Nowadays, you can watch movies from Angola on Netflix, which is actually impressive. And I believe that very soon we will see more. We will see uh, this Indian collaboration with Angola that I was just telling a few minutes ago, actually resulting in big collaborations, not just in music but cinema as well. Yeah, I believe.
Wow.
And I can't wait. I can't wait. You told me the other day. I remember about the artist you mentioned.
Ah, yes, absolutely. I
Yeah.
mean, that is going to happen because, those who are watching us, it's going to be a very interesting collaboration because, his style of music is totally, folk music. He's got a folk voice. I mean, you must have heard some of his clips where his voice actually goes to quite a high pitch. His vocals are actually reach on a higher pitch. And, you know, your vocals are more in the rap side of things. I think that collaboration is going to sound very, very interesting, and I hope it's going to happen.
And you told me actually that he collaborated already with another artist. You showed me one music video.
Yeah.
It was really great, very interesting. Yeah, that is not my main style, but that's actually that is actually what is interesting, is to have this mix of genres, Indian genre, Portuguese genre, and besides the sound instruments, the mix of these sound instruments, we're gonna have the accents, the different accents as well.